The room was already glowing with soft lights and quiet anticipation when Xiaojan and Wong Eba stepped onto the stage. Fans expected charm, perhaps a few smiles, maybe even playful banter. Instead, what unfolded became one of the most unforgettable moments in recent Cdrama history, a tribute so raw and deeply human that it left an entire audience in stunned silence before dissolving into tears. At the center of it all was Yu Menglong, a figure admired not just for his talent, but for the quiet strength and kindness he carried behind the scenes. Though often seen as composed and reserved, his impact on those around him ran deeper than most ever realized. That truth was about to be revealed, not through scripted lines, but through something far more powerful. The stage lights dimmed slightly, casting a warm, almost nostalgic glow. A large screen behind them flickered to life, playing a montage of behind-the-scenes moments. Laughter echoed faintly through the speakers, clips of shared meals, long filming nights, and candid smiles. The audience leaned in, sensing something different, something personal. Xiaojan was the first to speak, but his usual confidence seemed softened. His voice carried a slight tremble, barely noticeable, yet enough to shift the energy in the room. He did not start with formal praise or rehearsed compliments. Instead, he paused, looked down for a brief second, then said quietly that some people come into your life not loudly, but in ways that stay with you forever. That single line was enough to ripple through the crowd. He spoke of long nights during filming when exhaustion blurred everything, when even the strongest began to falter. He described how Yu Menglong would quietly check on everyone, offering simple words or even just presence. No cameras, no attention, no need for recognition. Just kindness, consistent and real. As Xiaojan continued, his composure began to crack in subtle ways. His pauses grew longer, his words more deliberate. He shared a moment when he personally struggled, when the weight of expectations felt overwhelming. It was Yu Menglong, he said, who reminded him why he started, not with grand speeches, but with a simple conversation that brought him back to himself. The audience was no longer just listening. They were feeling every word. Then it was Wong Eba's turn. Known for his calm and often reserved nature, Wong Eba rarely shows vulnerability in public. But that night was different. As he stepped forward, there was a quiet stillness that seemed to settle over the entire venue. He did not immediately speak. Instead, he looked toward the screen, where a clip of Yu Menglong laughing played in slow motion. When he finally began, his voice was low, steady, but heavy with emotion. He spoke about trust. Not the kind built in front of cameras, but the kind that forms in silence, through shared experiences and unspoken understanding. He described Yu Menglong as someone who never needed to say much to be understood, someone whose actions carried more weight than words ever could. There was a moment where Wong Eba stopped mid-sentence. The silence that followed was not awkward, it was profound. It was the kind of silence where emotions speak louder than anything else. When he continued, his voice softened even more, almost as if he was speaking directly to Yu Menglong rather than the audience. He said that in an industry often driven by pressure and constant change, it is rare to find someone who remains unchanged in their sincerity. And when you do, you realize just how rare that kind of person truly is. By now, many in the audience were visibly emotional. Some wiped tears quietly, others simply stared, completely absorbed in the moment unfolding before them. The tribute reached its peak when both Xiaojan and Wang Yibo stood side by side again. There was no grand gesture, no dramatic music swelling in the background. Just two individuals, speaking from a place of genuine gratitude and respect. They thanked Yu Menglong, not just for his work, but for who he is when no one is watching. And that was what made the moment so powerful. It was not about fame, or success, or public image. It was about something far more human. The unseen moments, the quiet support, the small acts of kindness that often go unnoticed, but leave the deepest impact. As the lights dimmed further, the screen displayed one final image. A simple candid shot of Yu Menglong, smiling naturally, unposed, completely himself. The audience rose to their feet almost instinctively. The applause that followed was not loud in the usual celebratory way. It was steady, heartfelt, filled with a kind of respect that cannot be forced or manufactured. It was the sound of people recognizing something real. In that moment, the boundaries between celebrity and audience seemed to disappear. What remained was a shared understanding of what truly matters: connection, sincerity, and the quiet power of being there for others. Long after the event ended, clips of the tribute spread rapidly online. Fans across the world reacted with overwhelming emotion, many expressing how deeply the moment resonated with them. It was not just about three well-known figures. It was about the reminder that even in the most polished industries, genuine human connection still exists. For many, it became more than just a tribute. It became a story. A story of friendship that does not need to be loud to be meaningful. A story of respect earned not through status, but through character. And a story that proved sometimes the most powerful moments are the ones that are simply real. And as fans replayed the speeches over and over again, one thing became clear. This was not just a moment they witnessed. It was a moment they felt. And those are the ones that never fade. In the days that followed, the impact of that night did not fade. It deepened. Clips of Xiaojan and Wong Eba standing side by side, their voices unsteady yet sincere, began to circulate across every corner of the internet. But what truly captured attention was not just what they said, it was what people noticed after. Fans began pointing out the smallest details. The way Xiaojan instinctively glanced toward Wong Eba at certain moments, as if drawing quiet strength. The subtle nods Wong Eba gave while listening, his usual composure replaced by something far more vulnerable. These were not rehearsed reactions. They were real, unfiltered, and impossible to fake. Even more striking was the reaction of Yu Menglong himself. Though he had remained off to the side during most of the tribute, cameras briefly caught his expression. There was no dramatic display, no attempt to turn the moment toward himself. Instead, he lowered his gaze, a faint smile forming, eyes reflecting a mix of gratitude and quiet disbelief. It was the kind of reaction that spoke volumes without saying a single word. That image alone became iconic. Fans began sharing their own interpretations of what made the tribute so powerful. Some spoke about loyalty in an industry often seen as fleeting. Others highlighted the rare glimpse into genuine friendships that exist beyond scripted scenes and public appearances. But a common thread ran through all of it, a sense that something deeply authentic had been revealed. For many, it also reshaped how they saw these three individuals. Xiaojan was no longer just the charismatic star with a radiant smile. In that moment, he became someone who carries his experiences quietly, who values the people who stood by him when things were not easy. His words revealed a depth that fans had only glimpsed before, but never this clearly. Wong Eba, often described as distant or reserved, showed a different side entirely. His silence, his pauses, the weight behind every sentence, all of it painted a picture of someone who feels deeply but chooses his moments carefully. And when he does speak, it matters. As for Yu Menglong, the tribute elevated him in a way no award or title could. It showed that his greatest impact was not in front of the camera, but behind it, in the quiet consistency of his actions, in the way he made others feel seen, supported, and understood. As discussions continued to grow, some fans even revisited past interviews and behind-the-scenes footage, searching for moments they may have overlooked before. And suddenly there they were. Small gestures, shared glances, unspoken understanding. Pieces of a story that had always been there, just unnoticed until now. The tribute had done something rare. It made people slow down. In a fast-moving world filled with constant updates and fleeting trends, this was a moment that asked people to pause and reflect, to think about the people in their own lives who show up quietly, the ones who may never stand in the spotlight, but whose presence makes all the difference. And perhaps that is why it stayed with so many, because beyond the fame, beyond the stage, beyond the applause, it reminded everyone of something simple yet profound, that sometimes the most important people in our lives are not the loudest ones. They are the ones who stay. And in honoring that truth, Xiaojan and Wong Eba did more than deliver a tribute. They created a moment that turned admiration into understanding, and understanding into something even deeper. Respect that lasts far beyond a single night.